Welcome back to Packs and Picks. I have here our second sealed pool for the beta edition of Sorcery Contested Realm. Like before, over the last few days, I opened 6 packs, I sorted them by element, and I posted those videos over in the Shorts feed. In this video, I'll be going over the deck I built, as well as highlighting some of the cards that stuck out to me while deck building. So let's see what I ended up with. I did end up with a water and fire deck, which I'll lay out right now. And if you go watch the Shorts, you'll notice that I had just a ton of water cards in the pool overall, and kind of to the detriment of some of the other elements, because we really had hardly any air cards, and really our fire cards even were pretty sparse. But I do think we got enough playables out of fire to make a decent deck here. All right, so there's the deck laid out. So one of the reasons why I chose fire was because I felt like there was a good amount of interaction in the fire pool. So one of the cards we had was Incinerate. So deal 4 damage to each other unit at target location near the caster or an allied dragon. We don't have a ton of dragons. In fact, we only have one in the form of Colicky Dragonettes. But I feel like this is a good creature with a nice little interaction, being able to deal 1 damage at the end of a turn. We also had a copy of Fireball, another burn spell in the deck, and then we also had a Vile Imp, which when it enters the realm deals 2 damage to target adjacent unit. So we had some reach, some burn spells in fire. We also had 2 copies of the Sirocco Scorpions, which I feel is a pretty good card. So that's why I really liked the fire side of things. And then, as I mentioned, in water, we just had a lot of options with a really big water pool, no pun intended. I liked some of the interaction that was coming out of water as well. So we had cards like Frost Nova, so freezing all nearby enemies. We'll see how good that comes out in play. We also had a copy of Drown, Ice Lance, so more interaction out of water as well. Some of the things I noticed as I laid out the water and the fire cards was just how high the curve of the pool was overall. And even here you can see we've got a lot of 4, 5, 6 mana spells, and that was something that worried me, and I actually did end up culling some higher cost spells from the pool. So I did remove 1 copy of Sea Serpent that's not in the deck. We had a 3rd copy of Incinerate that I didn't put in the final version of the deck. A copy of Cone of Flame, just a 6 mana burn spell that didn't make it in the final cut. And one of our uniques in the pool was Atlantean Fate. And I thought this was a really interesting card, and I felt like it could be a really tricky form of removal, especially if your opponent's not playing minions that can submerge. But I felt like I didn't have enough submerge in this deck to not have it be detrimental to my own plan as well. And then just with as high as the curve is, I decided not to put this 5 mana spell in favor of some other things that are going to keep me a little more flexible. Some of the things that I did keep in that were high mana cost: Abundance. So each affected site produces 1 additional mana. So I felt like this could help me generate some more mana, especially with so many expensive spells in the deck, that I could stay on top and keep casting those expensive spells. We also had the 6 mana Sierra One Hydra. So this is one of our big creatures at the top end that will hopefully help us close out the game. And then we also have Mother Nature. This one was kind of tough for me to include. I felt like ideally it would be great to have some high cost creatures that you could kind of cheat into play using her ability, being able to reveal them and then just summon them, which we don't have very many high cost creatures in the deck. I did ultimately decide to include her because I felt like even if we can cheat in some of those lower cost creatures, that'll save us some mana that we can use for our interaction spells and our burn spells. So that is why I did keep Mother Nature in the deck. One thing that I am going to keep an eye out on, though, is just really how well I'm able to close out games, because I do have a lot of interaction and removal, but my bigger creatures are waterbound. So we have Sea Serpent, 2 copies of Pirate Ship. We have the Hydra that can move around as well, but with these waterbound creatures, I might be concerned that I might not be able to reach out and finish out the game. So that is one thing that I'm going to be looking for during the gameplay. And then also we did get 1 exceptional site that works well for us, the Oasis, a water fire land which is going to help in the deck. So some other things from the pool that I thought were interesting I wanted to point out. We did get a copy of Scorched Earth. So choose any number of sites you control, destroy each of those sites and everything there. I thought there was some nice synergy with effects like Fire Harpoons that pull creatures in towards them, or cards like Riptide, which just the site itself pulls in adjacent minions. So I feel like there could be interesting synergy by pulling in some creatures and then Scorched Earthing them away with a Scorched Earth plan. So that's something I wanted to keep an eye out for in future decks and the format. Another thing out of air that I liked the look of was a Moonclan Werewolf. So 3 mana, sacrifice an allied mortal, summon Moonclan Werewolf from your hand to the mortal's location. I felt like this could synergize in an Earth deck where you're playing these villages that generate Foot Soldier tokens. So sacrifice your Foot Soldier and have them turn into a werewolf. So I like this little synergy that I found in the pool as well. And then another thing too, in air, we did have 2 copies of Highland Clansman, and this is an expensive spell that would be really interesting to include with Mother Nature. So if we were playing a water air deck, then this could be something that would be very devastating to our opponent to cheat into play off of Mother Nature. Like I said earlier though, we just didn't have a ton of air cards in the pool to, I feel like, justify playing air as our secondary color. But take a look at those shorts videos, maybe you've got a different idea. And that's the deck right there. Thank you so much for watching. Do you like the look of either the air or the earth cards from the shorts more than I did? Are there cards that you think I'm under or overvaluing? What overall direction would you have taken this pool? Let me know in the comments. I'm still on my journey in Sorcery, learning this game and having a great time with it. In the coming weeks, I'll be looking to play this deck against the first one I built, see how they perform, and after that, you can expect more pack openings and deck builds from me in Sorcery. So I'll see you then.